Hello everyone, I am Mansi Sharma, once again welcoming you to yet another episode of Media Minds, a great initiative presented by IndianTelevision.com, where we take you through the minds, the lives, the journeys, and strategies of some of the leading marketers, advertisers, and publishers in today's time. Today with us, we have a very special person joining us today, Mr. Yash Pariani, who has founded the Indian Gaming League, one of the biggest online and offline gaming platforms which arranges leagues for players and has gained a lot of traction, especially during the lockdown. We welcome you, Yash.
So thank you for having me here. And yeah, it's been a great journey, especially during this lockdown. It's been really hectic.
Gaming, as all of us know, just a few months back, just a few years back, it was just seen as a recreational activity and really had no productive basis. But within the past few months, this has grown as a multi-billion dollar industry, a big giant with professional players playing into the leagues, lots of advertisers backing the gaming ecosystem, and that's why we have players like Indian Gaming League growing. I would like to know from you how, especially in India, when did gaming started getting the sort of traction that it is getting today, and what sort of opportunities lie out there for the players as well as the media platforms associated?
So there have been a lot of opportunities for gamers. I think everyone has seen a number of esport platforms hosting. I think the most particular popular game would be PUBG. And I think it's starting from there. People have now all established the way to create a career in gaming is through playing multiple tournaments. And a lot of people now have started hosting a lot of different types of tournaments. And I think it's grown the entire community, made a lot of players realize that, gaming is now a lucrative career option. It's not just a hobby, and you can actually earn and make a career out of it. And it's been proven so by many of these other gamers that have done it internationally. India is still a little behind in terms of the amount of monetization gamers may get from sponsors or advertisers, but it's getting there. And I think COVID has probably accelerated the market by 2 to 3 years minimum.
Where in all of what was the motivation for you to start it, and how are you planning the journey for the platform?
So we had seen multiple opportunities in gaming internationally. And I think in India, being such a large population, having so many players but no structure or no platform, we decided that now we need to create something. It's not just about casually playing games anymore. There has to be a platform, there has to be a structure, and there has to be incentives. Right now, India, I think 3 or 4 years ago, was lacking all of them. And today there is a lot of incentive, there's a lot of platforms and structure that is coming into the gaming market. So this has added and aided towards the growth, and we wanted to be one of the people driving this growth behind it. We wanted to definitely be a big part of the entire gaming culture of India, being avid gamers ourselves. So that's what we decided.
And as a culture develops and as gaming becomes more mainstream even in India, I believe talent management and talent recognition is going to be the next big challenge for all the people involved here. So, how do you think, and what are the sort of initiatives that are in place for that?
So there are going to be a lot of talent out there, and it definitely has to be managed. I think we'll have to see this is going to aid to the development of a new ecosystem of businesses as well. And I think a lot of people are going to now, there are a few already that are managing players. I think that is going to grow exponentially as well. And we'll be needing those people as well. And the entire community has to work together as a whole in order to grow it together. So that is definitely what, talent management and talent recognition are two integral aspects of this. And I think our community, our platform helps in identifying those communities and those players as well.
And you personally, are you planning an extension to just organizing leagues and just and get into this phase of getting more talents on board or promoting them, or you have just this vision to go where you are headed right now?
Definitely. We want to, eventually our goal is to have multiple of the best teams with our roster. But for that, we wanted to first identify all the players. So within this time span for the next nearby future, we want to ensure that we have multiple tournaments occurring where we're able to give casual gamers a chance to actually prove their worth and climb our leaderboards. Based on that, we'll be able to help identify who are the consistent players that are performing better than others. We would like to then establish and help those players and curate an international feature for them as well as a career option. So then they can take part and represent India in future tournaments. So definitely it is part of our plan to get there. But as of now, there's just a lot of players and a lot of unstructured. So we're just hosting a lot of tournaments to incentivize and build a community.
Another aspect in this whole paradigm is that of advertisers and brands partnering with gaming platforms. There is a lot of increase in the amount of in-app advertisements or in-game advertisements that have started gaining traction. If we talk about the Indian ecosphere, what sort of brands and what sort of categories are already active in the gaming arena, and what sort of development are we expecting going ahead?
So there have definitely been tremendous, in-app advertisements that have occurred. And I think gaming is now going to be a more integral part of it. I think prior to COVID, it wasn't taken as serious as opposed to other offline activities that could occur or other traditional forms of advertising. However, we've seen that entire pathway change. We've seen that trend, go from Facebook to Instagram, and now everyone's diversifying to other options as well. And I think gaming would be a great alternative sphere in this matter for advertisers to come on board and promote their products in a unique way to a new market, which is a huge market out there. So it's definitely going to grow. And I think it's a great way as well, because there are a lot of different means for advertisers to promote their markets, to promote their products through our platform.
But what sort of categories do you think will be suited to advertise during the games? Because if a person is a professional gamer, I know for a fact, because I know a few people, that they are very serious about their games. When they are engrossed in it, they are engrossed in it. So there shouldn't be a distraction in an ad term. So how do you think that brands and platforms like yours can work together to create a mutually growing environment?
So there are many different categories of products that could potentially benefit from the gamer specifically. I mean, you have your typical FMCG food merchandise that you could promote as well with gamers. You could have your headsets, electronic hardwares, your chairs, your desks. There are multiple products and platforms that could be catered directly towards them. So I think there are a lot of brand opportunities out there that haven't been explored yet towards a gaming demographic that should start. So there is a good number. I'm not saying that every brand would be suited towards it, but there are a lot that could potentially benefit where they've not even realized.
Another thing that comes to my mind when we think of this whole monetizing part of the gaming ecosphere, that a lot of companies are already backing leagues and apps like yours and several of your competitors. There is a lot of Chinese investment in this arena, but as India changes its, socio-political environment that is blooming right now, there's a lot of nationalistic sentiment growing. So, what is the future of gaming platforms and leagues that have a lot of Chinese investment in place for this?
So I think definitely there are a lot of Chinese-backed companies, and but that's not to say that India won't be seeing the emergence of its own industries and funds that would also back these companies. I think there is definitely a lot of interest by Indian-led VCs that are, have their own money and that they are looking to invest as well. So it's not entirely going to be a Chinese-dominated industry. There's definitely a lot of scope for investment in the Indian market as well. And I think it's going to see a rise in the growth of Indian game makers as well, which is going to lead also to the development of the market within India at a higher pace.
And if we look into the categories that are there, there are soft skill based games, then there are esports leagues, which is yours, then there are skill based games, and there are like games like Candy Crush or Baby. One that gained a lot of traction during the lockdown is the Ludo games. So, which categories do you think will grow more going ahead, and who all are going to get more advertiser attention?
So casual games will definitely see a higher traction compared to your uh, FPS first person shootouts or your strategy games. So that has got the highest number of traction definitely during the lockdown. But there's also a lot of Ludo would be number one. Second would probably be PUBG, and followed by Call of Duty. I would say these three games, based on our platform and statistics, have seen the largest growth as well. And it goes to say that that it's not just esports. There are all several types of gaming and different types of audiences that your game can cater to. I would say Ludo has a higher age group than our PUBG, so it depends really. But they all are gaming, and they're getting a lot of spectatorship and views. So it is lucrative for advertisers to come on board and promote their products on that.
You also have mentioned it somewhere in distant past that COVID-19 has truly catalyzed this movement towards making gaming a serious business in India. The users have increased, numbers show it very clearly. But we are seeing in other industries as well that the advertiser movement is not as much as one would have expected in normal times because of very obvious reasons out there. But once this pandemic is gone, once these things start moving back to normal, do you think this whole craze of gaming, this whole new addition to the marketing plan that has been introduced as gaming platforms during this time, will it sustain itself?
So I think COVID has changed a lot of things forever. I think a lot of people have realized, we're now capable of living in a digital world and working from home. I think this is going to have a large effect and towards a big part of the population in India, especially. So I think people are going to start seeing more lucrative options by you can work from home and earn in gaming. Then I think a lot of people are going to opt for that. And I believe that it's going to sustain. If the jump definitely was a really big curve, a really big during the pandemic, and we might see a slight downturn, but I think in the long term, it's definitely going to sustain and see a steady trend upwards because it's going to be a much more lucrative option in terms of a career where the prize pools of several tournaments are just growing by the year at a phenomenal rate. I believe that Dota 2 has one of the largest prize pools in the world. And I think for the last couple of years has been growing at several $1 million and has crossed, I think, $30 million as the annual prize pool. So that itself is just one game. So there are many games and many opportunities. And I think a lot of people are going to start seeing that in this decade.
And what is your plan for IGL going ahead? How are you planning to develop this platform? What sort of partnerships you are looking at currently, and how do you want to take it further?
So right now, our main thing is just growing the community and engaging the users. That is what we want to do. We want to create a platform where the users are able to come, whether you're an amateur, pro, or a semi-pro, you will be able to find your place amongst IGL and be able to earn within that category, plus climb the ranks. So we want to be able to identify who are the best players. And then once we have that information and it's out there, then we're looking to establish a really incredible league out of that and help those players, represent India for international tournaments and have a career out of that. So we have a lot of gamers, like we said, and especially the casual gamers. There is scope for earning through our platform for them as well. And our vision eventually is once we have identified and established it, then to just have the best gamers play and create an entire industry around gaming for these gamers.
So, how are you
Yeah.
planning to market yourself going ahead to get more and more people coming on board?
So I believe the best platforms to reach the gaming community are probably Discord, and you have your YouTubes and Twitch where gamers like to stream their gameplay over there. So these are the best platforms probably to reach out to your audience, especially in our market. And we were just building an interesting content chip across our streaming platforms. So that will engage the user as well, where they can help and see the best players play on our platform, giving them the hope that they would be able to also play.
We see a lot of cross media relationships building these days. be it between OTT and television content or similar ways. So, does gaming have that scope of building relationships with television, maybe screening some of their games over there or some of the OTT platforms?
Definitely. I think in terms of viewership as well, gaming has a much larger audience viewership than most of its traditional sports counterparts. And I believe that a lot of the mainstream channels are soon going to look to explore esports content because it's going to be one of the most watched content in the coming decade. So there's definitely a lot of potential for the local channels to start looking into tie-ups with platforms like ours for content on esports.
How are you planning to take these relationships ahead? Are there some plans in place? Are you already in talks or some
Definitely,
up in place?
we are in talks. There's a lot of technology that has to be built also for it. So all of that is underway, and we're looking to definitely take it mainstream. And COVID has definitely helped us with that and accelerated our plans also by a couple of years. So we'll be seeing soon of that.
So what I have taken from this discussion is that one, gaming is going to be more mainstream. Second, there are going to be more advertisers coming on board, and thirdly, there is a lot of efforts being made from the communities and to make it more mainstream and maybe tie it up with more traditional platforms too. If I want to hear from you, that what is your long-term and short-term vision for IGL going ahead, and how are you going about it?
So I think one of the main things was creating a completely digital platform was our main goal in the near short term future. And I think we established that. And it worked out well during COVID. You know, there's no offline activities or anything that's occurring. Everything is digital. So I think we've achieved one of those goals. And the other next is to ensure that we get the higher number of views and viewership across India, and the rest of the gaming community should help us with that as well to ensure that we grow the entire industry. So I mean, streamers are a very extremely integral part of the system as well. So as well as the players, getting a good streamer, that's also a very lucrative career option for gamers. And we're looking to build a good roster of streamers as well with us. So we've been auditioning and having a few streamers come on board, and we're looking to take that also forward in the future.
It was great interacting with you, Yash. I'm sorry for all the network issues, but I guess
No
that's
worries.
normal now. Most
Yeah,
of the interviews are going to be faceless. I
I
hope
think
you
that's another
enjoyed.
thing. But definitely, it was great. Thank you for having me, and look to be in touch.
Sure, sure. Thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you.